Lots of talk about whether ITV was basically split in two, the studios business in one end and the kind of broadcast assets the other way. I mean, the studios was the big reason to grow a load of value for ITV. So interesting that it might end up split. Do you think that'll happen?
I think it will happen. And the reason I think it actually probably should happen, is because at the moment, ITV, like Zinc, is publicly listed. It's on the FTSE. So the problem that the capital market has, which is the public market, is that it's massively undervaluing media stocks. ITV is undervalued, STV is undervalued, Zinc's undervalued. We're all trading at a 5, 6, 7 times our EBITDA profit, not the 10 to 15 that these stocks have traded in. Now, that is a challenge for ITV, because in effect what the market is saying is we don't value your channel anymore. The linear,
yes, you can look at the numbers and say basically the ITV market cap is what studios are worth.
100%, exactly. And I think that's a clever technique that Caroline and the team have done there, is by saying, look, you're valuing my studios business, which of course the correlation is you're placing no value on that linear channel, which is ridiculous because clearly it has massive value. So I suspect they do have to spin out, and as they do, I would, from my seat, we're at the smaller end of the market. If there is a course correction in the biggest player being valued, that will only help all the way through the sector.
If you're an independent production company and you've had some success and you're thinking about growth and those opportunities, what should you be doing to get your business ready to be in a good place to maybe benefit from some of this investment?
Well, you need to be clear on your USP, and realistically, it's got to be about IP creation, or in financial terms, we talk about revenue quality, which is really about how sticky, how returning is your business as a TV maker. What investors don't like about telly is it's lumpy and bumpy, and you can have massive years and terrible years. And that spooks investors. But it is the nature of TV. So get the right investors who are prepared to see a 3, 5, 10-year journey and not worry too much about 6 months, 12 months, or even 24 months. That's critical. Develop your IP, and also just please get finances in sensible order. Be able to have a decent pipeline, a decent development slate. And then I think the third thing I'd say is be realistic about price. The heady days of 10 times, 15 times are not with us at the moment, as we've just said. The amount of companies I've spoken to said, well, we're going to wait until we have a really good year. And I'm like, dude, it's going to make no difference if you have a really good year, because we're all looking at the overall performance in the round. And if you have a bad year and a good year, actually, it doesn't make your business any greater or less valuable, particularly if it's just a one-off year. It's fine. So don't try and game it. If you want to get investment, because ultimately there's things you can't do because you're subscale, then go and get your company ready and join one of the larger groups. And I personally believe that television has to consolidate. You mentioned earlier about the Bauer story and the consolidation in commercial radio, there is undeniable financial evidence that commercial radio is in the best health and in audience terms. Now, it smashes the BBC. In my day in commercial radio, it was a head-to-head. The commercial radio is miles ahead of the BBC now in terms of share of voice in this country. And it's had huge consolidation. So could we take a read across and say, okay, UK TV production sector, we need to go out and dominate the world again in our IP creation and in our storytelling. How do we do that? We need to invest more. We need to attract new money to our sector, and we need to go out there with the biggest and best ideas. I think one of the things we need to do to fix our shop, to get our house in order, is to take a bit of a leaf out of what's happened in other sectors and bring some of that scale to the party.